I saw it as a kid, and I had been approached by my dad's agent to play the young Gypsy. I was the right age, but I didn't have tap dancing, didn't have any of that, and decided not to audition. But I went to see the show, and I was a pretty savvy theater kid by then, and I thought, well, the kid's gone in the first act. I want to be that one. So 30 years later or so, it was the 30th anniversary of the show. Angela Lansbury had already done it after 15-year period. And it's a great role. Plus, I've been singing all my life because I really like to, and my fantasy was not about the silver screen, nor was it about television particularly. It was about the musical theater. That was the thrilling stuff. That was the art form that I thought was so sensational when I was a kid. And I'd done some of it in stock, and so I had sung on a Dolly Parton show. Dolly Parton tried to have a variety show again, which lasted for a little while, but to rejuvenate the idea of variety, skits and songs and guest stars and stuff. And I went and guest starred. We were doing Cagney Lacey, and the producer of the people that wanted to produce Gypsy again saw me, and this fellow turned to his partner and said, "What do you think about Tyne Daly as Rose?" Because they had approached Liza Minnelli, and they had approached Bette Midler, who were not interested in were doing that many shows a week and all this stuff. The reason that we toured first was because the producers wanted to make their money back before we tried Broadway. That's how it works. What the opportunity for me was to get on the stage after I hadn't been on the musical stage in 10 years. Although I had trained for it in school, the American Musical and Dramatic Academy. We had to sing and dance and carry on. I got to really learn my job on the road. I had 3 weeks rehearsal in New York, and we went off to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and began to do the shakedown cruise, figure out the lumps, so that by the time we did get here, the show and I were ready to, play the play, revive the play, which means breathe life into. It's a great play, it has an unparalleled score. It was a main chance for me to not be just categorized as a television actress. We do play categories: movie actresses, television actresses, theater actresses, and I wanted to expand past TV actress. So just remove the TV from just actress is fine with me. But I just wanted to be an actress. There were a lot of ghosts to tilt at. It really was a kind of. I got a great telegram from my Auntie Kathy. The greatest telegram I've ever gotten in my life. It's framed, and I think I sent it to Boston with all the other memorabilia after the end. But so I no longer have it in my possession. But it's, and it said, "Dear Tyno, break a legend," which is actually genius.
Yeah.
And that was the task, And I also had to make sure the audience knew that they weren't going to see Mary Beth Lacey as Rose, which. How did I do? I worked very hard with the people that knew about that play the best. Arthur Lawrence, who wrote it and also directed our production, and Julie Stein, and to a lesser degree Stephen. Stephen wasn't around very much, but I said to them when I auditioned, lock me in a room and tell me everything you know, and I'll try and tell the people. Different singing style, of course. There's no such thing as somebody who does Merman, and I wasn't interested or capable of doing a Merman imitation. But we were pretty true to the keys, except sometimes 8 shows a week. That's a very tough show. So there were times in the matinee when we lowered, either half or a whole step. Well, because it's very wearing on the voice.
Well,
I was very pissed off. I didn't know what happened. I thought, my medium, my network, and arguably now my show, and it was a long time afterwards that I went to Arthur Lawrence and said, what happened and stuff. And I got my answer out of a network executive finally, not Jerry Offsay, the other wrong Jerry. Can't remember that guy who was running CBS. And he said, I got a telephone call in the night saying, I've got Midler, I've got Gypsy, and my next call is to NBC. Now, as an executive, what would you have done? But you comfort yourself by saying, well, Ethel Merman didn't get to do the movie either. And besides that, I have 500 performances of Gypsy that belong to me and cannot be removed by any other actress trying it.